Today we're going to be looking at the blue shell cards of Magic the Gathering. Cards that will affect the best player at the table. Now either this can attack them or bring them down in line with everyone else. Because when they get hit by that blue shell, they're going to be with the rest of the pack. Okay, I'm going to start off with No Witnesses. No Witnesses, a 4-mana sorcery. Each player who controls the most creatures investigates. You might think that's a bonus, but then you what? Then you have to destroy all... Wait a minute, this is not... Then we're going to destroy all creatures. We actually destroy every... Okay, This is not a good example. Let's go on with Old Boys, a Fractured Identity. I actually misinterpreted my own card. Doesn't happen very often. I thought it was destroy the creature who got all the investigating. Okay, Fractured Identity, a 5-mana sorcery. Exile target non-land permanent, and then each player other than its controller creates a token that's a copy of it. In this case, whoever has the best creature on the board, whoever's the big baddie, we're going to get rid of it. And guess what? We're going to distribute those creatures to everybody else, but it doesn't have to be a creature. It can be anything else. It could be an enchantment. Could even be a planeswalker. Who wouldn't want another planeswalker? Blue shell, it's white. Well, no, okay. It's not. If anyone is familiar with Mario Kart is a game where you throw blue shells at people. Sorry, when you get the blue shell item, it targets only the person in first place. Only. Whoever's at the front of the race, they get hit, bringing them down to everybody else. So this is a show about whoever is in the lead, whoever has the strongest creature. This is going to affect them significantly. That's what today's show is about. And I had to disqualify my own card, which is the first time ever. Okay, we got Leon Corgi with Brina, the Demagogue. I could have chose anything. I chose that card. Okay, we got Brina. This is a 3-mana, 1/3 Bird Warlock. Looks like an owl. Flying. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than another of your opponents, that attacking player draws a card. And you put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. I love it. Anything to bring the top player down in line with everybody else. Sometimes it's better to be in second place or in third place. You don't want to get hit by that blue shell. Hexenort with the Scourge of the Throne. Scourge of the Throne is a 6-mana 5/5 dragon. It's got flying and dethrone. Whenever this creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Now, whenever this creature attacks for the first time each turn, if it's attacking the player with the most life or tied for the most life, untap all attacking creatures. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. That is absolutely bonkers. So this is a great way to bring that first place player down to 4th place. They can be in last place after you get in that second attack with the Scourge of the Throne and all your other stuff on the battlefield. Islar says, one of my commanders I actively play. See if you don't get confused with Brina the Demagogue. Oh no, we already looked at this one. It wasn't too long. I wouldn't say you got sniped. I mean, you were sort of there already, but we already looked at it. Teutonic Nightmare with the Axis of Mortality. Axis of Mortality is a 6-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may have 2 target players exchange life totals. So you're going to switch places. This happens every upkeep. You have the power to change life. Hold on. You may have 2 target players, not even your life total. You can have 2 other people switch their life totals. This is a very interesting card. It's 6 mana though. I guess that's the only super downside to it. It doesn't actually progress the board in any way. But if anyone, if someone brings you down to 1 life, that's dangerous. They really need to kill you. They have only one option: kill you in 1 shot or not even attack you at all. Who's going to want to mess with the player who has the Axis of Mortality on the board? This is a wild card. I like this. I like this card a lot. Jay Cross says, this card is pretty rough when they go down to 1 life at your end step. Oh, it's very, very rough. Maybe the roughest of rough. Teutonic Nightmare says, screw over the life gain and Death Shadow players at the same time. All right, you have 100 life. You have 5 life. Well, how about we do the old switcheroo between all of you? Make you both super unhappy. Someone lost all their death shadows and their, what is it called? Shadow, is it Shadow of Doubt? No. There's another one of those. There's another shadow out there where you need to have a reduced life total, but whatever. We got, next up, we have Benny with How About Biorhythm? The player in the lead might have very few creatures at the right time. Each player's life total becomes the number of creatures they control. Very unlikely, actually. I imagine the player in the lead has a lot of creatures, more creatures than everybody else, because that is why they're in the lead. In theory, I mean, in theory, each player's life total becomes the number of creatures. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna give you it. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna it. We'll work with theoreticals here. It's like a big swing for potentially the player that is who has a lot of life. Next up, we've got Archangel New with Reverse the Sands. Does this count? We have a 6-mana sorcery. Redistribute any number of players' life totals. Absolutely. I never remember how these cards work, though. Each of those players gets 1 life total back. What does that mean? So you choose which player gets which life total when the spell resolves? We're just swapping life totals, right? You can't split up a life total where you redistribute it. For example, suppose that you're in a 2-player game, your life total is 5 and your opponent's life total is 15. When the Reverse the Sand starts to resolve, you can choose A, leave the life totals as is, or B, make your life total 15 and the opponent's 5. Okay, I see. That was my original question. Can we just how about you go 0 and I go everything? But it also says each of those players gets 1 life. So maybe I go 19, you get 1. But no, we just switch life totals. That's definitely going to count here. Guy playing shrines gets whooped by this. Which one? Oh, you mean this? Oh, the sorcery biorhythm. Probably true. Felicia with Damping Engine. Damping Engine is a 4-mana artifact. A player who controls more permanents than any other cannot play lands or artifacts, creature or enchantment spells. That is the most staxiest of stacks cards. That player may sacrifice a permanent to ignore this effect until end of turn. Basically, okay, so if you're the best player at the table, if you're in the lead, well, you don't have so many privileges like you used to. You're going to be bogged down by the Damping Engine. Okay, we got some super chats, starting with Tues. Thanks so much for your big super chat. Not sure when I'll be back, but we'll go into hospital tomorrow. Good luck with your surgery, Toads. You have 2 donos to chat. All right, we'll redistribute those things right now. Okay, Islarf wants redemption. You will get redemption. Fade away. Considering the winning player has so many creatures but cannot pay well. Okay, we have a 3-mana sorcery. For each creature, absolutely, that creature's controller pays 1 or sacrifices a permanent. Love the card. Oh, it's a sorcery, though. It's a one-time effect. Michael Ing is like, does balance count? 100% it counts. Well, usually. Very likely this will screw over someone that's in the lead. So 2-mana sorcery. Each player chooses a number of lands they control equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacrifices the rest. Players discard cards and sacrifice creatures the same way. Next up, we have another super chat. I'll give your freebie away a little bit later, Toads. We're going to go to Blink Somniac. Curse of Opulescence, the best player. The Curse of OP. Oh, they're not going to be so lucky anymore, right? This is the unlucky guy. A red curse, enchant player. When enchanted player is attacked, create a gold token. Each opponent attacking the player does the same. We could all use some gold tokens. Why is there a difference between the gold tokens and the treasure tokens? A gold token is an artifact. Oh, it doesn't tap. That's the difference. Slightly better than treasure. Even though it's basic. What is treasure made of? Gold! It's basically the same thing. I guess gold includes, like, I don't know, silver and... I think that's the only... I don't know, jewels, diamonds. I suppose that's also treasure. Treasure's more clunky. Must be tapped to get that mana. David Sampson with the black gate. Maybe not so interesting, but it fits. No, I'm looking for fits. It's a legendary gate. There's not a lot of interesting gates out there. This one's interesting. As the black gate enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Tapped out of black, and for 2 mana, tap. Choose a player with the most life or tied for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. Hold on. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls. Choose a player with the most life or tied. Target creature. Oh, I see. What? I don't get it. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. Do I understand this correctly? Isn't it just saying that like the player with the most life actually gets an advantage? Choose a player with the most life or tied for the most life. Then target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player. Oh, I see. No. Okay. They're the ones who are not allowed to block. Okay, gotcha. You know, it was just worded in a way. Yeah, it's your creature. It's just worded in a way that was just weird. I get it. It works out perfectly. We got Phil Gold with the Smuggler's Stash. Smuggler something? Was it called Smuggler's Stash? Smuggler's Buggy? Smuggler's Share, I bet. That was Smuggler's Share. So a 3-mana enchantment at the beginning of each end step. Draw a card for each opponent who drew 2 or more cards this turn. Then create a treasure token for each opponent who had 2 or more lands enter the battlefield under their control this turn. Ooh, I love this card. Very nice. If you get an advantage, I get double that advantage. You be very, very careful. And by the way, this is an enchantment. It's be sitting here on the battlefield forever. You want a ramp? Thank you very much. Ramp me up too, baby. You got to spread the ramp around, frankly. We got Mercenary with limited resources. Very limited. Okay, 1 white enchantment. When limited resources come into play, each player chooses 5 lands they control and sack the rest. As long as there are 10 or more lands in play, players cannot play lands. That's right, our ramp. It's not your ramp, it's our ramp. Okay, next up, we got super chat from Blank Somniac. Thanks so much for the giant super chat. They should make a gimmick consisting of gold, silver, and copper tokens. Double dono super chat. Thank you so much, Blink Somniac. We have so many super chats. We're going to give one to Jay Gra. So these super chats are overlapping with each other. Seraphic Greatsword. We need the Seraphic one. Oh my god, they're blind like in that movie where they weren't allowed to see anything. So 2 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. Whenever equipped creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking that player. Oh my god, it's what's it called? The Priest of Saint Traft. That's what it was. The Priest of Saint Traft. The priest is back, babe. Or anyone could become a priest here. All right, next up, we got Arethusa with Mob Rule. Screw you, Craig. I don't know that. I don't know the reference to that. Who's Craig? Mob Rule is a 6-mana sorcery. Choose 1. Gain control of all creatures with power 4 or greater until end of turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until end of turn. Gain control of all creatures with power 3 or less until end of turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until end of turn. All creatures with power 4 or greater. So you're basically going to steal everything that's big on the board. You swipe it all the way to yourself, and you're going to laugh to the bank. The Mob Rule has spoken. Okay, we're going to take a look at more of these cards that are blue shells against your best opponents. But we first got to tell you how to get those cards. You're going to get them at FusionGamingOnline.com. My favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards. And the players that are number 1 are going to be the Marvel superheroes. Watch out for Wolverine, Iron Man, was this She-Hulk? Is this Elastigirl or something? I don't know who this is. It doesn't look like they're from the Incredibles, but it sort of looks like an Incredibles person. I don't know my Marvels very well. I'll tell you what I do know very well. Is that you can get 5% off all these cards when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And, of course, it supports the channel. which is the most important thing. Support the channel at fusiongamingonline.com. Okay, next up. We have 2 donos. I'm going to save these donos for the end of the show. Give some people some extra cards at the end. We have Fan Factor with Wedding Ring. Become engaged to the winningest player. Interesting. Interesting interpretation. We have a 4-mana artifact. Enters the battlefield. If it was cast, target opponent creates a token. That's a copy of it. Would you like to be my husband or wife? Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. It's not your cards, it's our cards now. And whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. This is actually better than an actual wedding. It's because whoever gets something basically doubles it instead of dividing it. So it's not like they're gaining 10 life and they actually have to donate 5 life to you. Benjamin Berkey with, I think Rivalry fits the show perfectly. Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them. We have a 3-mana enchantment called Rivalry. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls more lands than any other, Rivalry deals 2 damage to him or her. They're gonna get zapped. And it's every upkeep? Every upkeep that player controls more lands. It's actually like you keep hitting the best player with green shells over and over and over again. You green shell them, they recover, you green shell them again, or I guess maybe red shell. This is a red shell card. I know the sting of getting hit by red shell after red shell after red shell. You're just not moving. You don't go anywhere. You have how many lands? How shocking. Oh, yeah. Next up, we got Corbinek with the Tidal Control. Tidal Control is a 3-mana enchantment with cumulative upkeep of 2. It's featuring some Homerids in here. Any player may pay 2 or 2 life to counter target red or green spell. Plays ability as an interrupt. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter this loss of life. This will be hateful against the green or red player. If they get out of line, anybody can gang up on them. Blink Somniac says it's a different Mrs. Marvel named Kamala Khan who has a gauntlet. They give her the ability to stretch and make hard light projections. Probably Elastigirl was inspired by that one. Phil Goad with Windfall. Bring back Homerids. Well, we have to go back to Homelands, which I don't think is high on Wizards of the Coast priority list. I bet it was like a boardroom discussion once, or an R&D discussion. Should we go back to Homelands? No, that's a bad idea. Think of the optics. No one will even pay attention to the set. That's exactly how it's going to go. Does anyone really want to go back to Homelands? I don't think so. Okay, Windfall, 3-mana sorcery. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. If you're in the lead, well, now you're pulled back to the same ranks as us. Next up, we also have Prince of Winners, a Scholar of New Horizon. Homelands was just a one of? Was it really just a one of? What about... There was some mention of Urza's block, but not a lot after that. Oh, you're saying it was like a small story. It was a sideline story. Well, they can just make a new story, you know? I thought that's how all of Magic is. Like, they're making the set. They like make a set and they force people to make it. I actually don't know the process of the story. I don't know. It's a chicken and egg thing. Do they make the set based on something and tell the writers make a story about this? Or is like, make a story about this first and then we make cards out of it? I actually don't know the process. Scholar of New Horizons is a 2-mana 1/1 human scout. Scholar of New Horizons enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. Tap, remove a counter from a permanent you control. Search your library for a plains card and reveal it. If an opponent controls more lands than you, which they probably will, you may put that card onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. That is a beautiful, beautiful value. That actually looks like a really good commander card. It does not even cost any mana to activate this. Oh, but I see. You only get 1 counter, so you have to continuously put counters on your Scholar of New Horizons to get more value. Blinksomniac says, imagine if Nikachu hosts a Homelands show tomorrow out of spite to troll the viewers. I think we have done a Homeland show before. It has been done. In the old days, the OG team based it off their old D&D playgroup writings. So they just basically made cards out of, like, old stories that already existed. Trisaru with Unquenchable Fury. Unquenchable Fury is a 3-mana aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has whenever this creature attacks, it deals X damage to defending player, where X is the number of cards in their hand. Love that idea. When Unquenchable Fury is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return it to your hand. Oh, you can't get rid of this thing. So it's like anti-Rancor. It's red Rancor, baby. They actually probably should make way more cards like this. Like auras are so bad. I've said this like a million times. The downside to auras is just enormous. So like almost all auras by default should have like the Rancor ability, where if it's put into the graveyard from play, it just bounces back to your hand. But I guess that like makes it sort of like an equipment. Next up, we've got Kano with Tectonic Helion. Modern Horizons 4 should be Homelands 2. What do you think? I don't know. You mean just to trick people into thinking the power level is going to be like more in line than what people will imagine, just to temper people's expectations. Okay, Tectonic Helion is a 7-mana 8/5 Helion. I don't know. I guess that's just a big fiery worm. It's got haste, and when it attacks each player who controls the most lands, sacrifices 2 lands. It's just fair. Hey, look, I'm not attacking anyone specifically. I mean, you're just ahead. You could be behind, and then you're not going to lose so many lands anymore. Next up, we also have from Seaguy, the Avatar of Might. Would opponents still be that scared of this nowadays? Probably not. This is a 8-mana 8/8 Avatar. If an opponent controls at least 4 more creatures than you, Avatar of Might costs 6 less to play. Get a big discount. To be honest, if someone has 4 more creatures than you, you're probably still in a lot of trouble. I don't know if an 8/8 Trampler is going to do it these days. We got Jirocat with the Magus of the Mirror. I don't remember what this does. 6-mana 4/2, tap, sacrifice Magus of the Mirror. Oh, exchange life totals with target opponent. Activate this ability only during your upkeep. You got a lot of life over there. You got like 100 life over there. Well, it's a shame if it got switched with somebody. Now, this is not completely guaranteed, but someone with a lot of life is generally going to be in white, and there's removal in white. There's not like infinite removal in white. I would bet that this thing survives a rotation that you can exchange with the life gain player. What about OG Theros? There's an actual card called Theros. Next we've got Josara says, kind of weird how the trample isn't the top ability. Oh, on the Avatar? Well, because it's whenever there's a clause, I mean, it does feel weird. Most cards with trample, it is the top ability, but whenever there's like a clause on a card, the clause precedes like all the other abilities. Okay, Lesthian with Spiteful Reposition. Is this the Repo Man? Is this Magic the Gathering's Repo Man? They're gonna take my car? I swear, I swear to God, I'll make the payment. I swear. Okay, 5-mana sorcery. Spiteful Repossession deals damage to each opponent who controls more lands than you, equal to the difference. Then create a number of treasure tokens equal to the damage dealt this way. We're not actually repossessing anything. If anything, this should have been some sort of card that stole things back that people stole from you. The cost reduction is always the top ability. Cost reduction before everything else. Old Boy says, the top ability concerns casting. Trample is only important on the battlefield. Or the boyfriend, if you want to interpret it that way. Next, we've got Archangel Anu with Over Encumbered. Punish the enchanted player with the most artifacts. We have a 2-mana aura, enchant opponent. When Over Encumbered enters the battlefield, enchanted opponent creates a clue token, a food token, and a junk token. At the beginning of combat on enchanted opponent's turn, that player may pay 1 for each artifact they control. Good luck. If they don't, creatures can't attack this combat. Wow, it's like a preemptive propaganda. Costs a little less. But, I mean, it's going to force them to sack all their treasures. And their gold. Sack all their treasures and their gold. Choke? I'm not going to count choke. That's just hating on the blue players. Wait, are you trying to say all the blue players are in first place? Is that what you're trying to say here? The show just got hot for trampling fetishes. Next up, we have a massive super chat from Blinksomniac. Curse time. Oh, you have a lot of curses. Okay, we'll go through your curses one at a time. So we have Curse of Bounty. We'll alternate. You'll have all the curses. But we only have 4. We went through one of them, right? 1, 2, 3. So you wanted the other 4. Okay, Curse of Bounty is a 2-mana Aura Curse, enchant player. When an enchanted player is attacked, untap all non-land permanents you control. Each opponent attacking that player untaps all non-land permanents they control as well. Fantastic card. Okay, whoever is the best player, you have an incentive to go after them. All right, just do it. Just attack. You get double the mana. I swear. Next up, we've got. Did we do Preacher? Praise the Lord. The Schism. I don't know what a Schism is. 3-mana 2/4 Vampire Cleric, Death Touch. Whenever Preacher of the Schism attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. Whenever Preacher of the Schism attacks while you have the most life or are tied for the most life, you draw a card and you also lose 1 life. You really cash in by attacking the best player at the table. That was a, this card doesn't look like much. This was a hardcore staple of Pioneer for a very long time. Might still be in some decks. It's really hard to attack into, and it's incredible value. Like, it's such good value. Make little creatures, and also you can reduce your life total to draw cards, which then also can be converted into making vampires because you have the lowest life total. Next up, we've got Blink. Okay, we're gonna go with Blinksomniac's Curse of Vitality. You're too vital around here. It's a 3-mana Aura Curse, enchant player. When enchanted player is attacked, you gain 2 life. Each opponent attacking that player does the same. We all get life around here. All right, attack. It's lucky to attack Bob over here. Bob going big. Corvinick says, we'll confirm it's still played in Pioneer on Arena, the Preacher. I don't doubt it. Is Vampires is not still a deck, is it? Or is it just like a black-red mid-range deck? Or maybe it evolved, who knows? It could be an Orzhov deck at this point. Charging Badger tramples over Force of Savagery. Oh my god, the only thing it can trample all over. David Sampson with the Arbiter of No Ridge. Look how they that was no mistake over there. We have a 7-mana 5/5 Vigilance Giant Wizard. When Arbiter of No Ridge enters the battlefield, each player's life total becomes the highest life total among all players. So oops, no. What am I doing here? Oh no, yeah, everything's good. The player in the lead, it's almost like we all sped up to up into first place instead of bringing them back down. But nonetheless, their advantage is no more. We're going to take a look at more of the blue shell cards, but we do have to thank our sponsor today, Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. On Magic Online, my favorite website for playing Magic, why would you want to do that? Well, it's cheaper that way because instead of buying every single card on Magic Online digitally, you just rent them. And when they get banned, who cares? You send them back and get a new deck. You love playing new decks. Who doesn't? And you can support the channel renting using my coupon code Nikachu_AHL for 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription. I don't know how many blue shells you would rent from Mana Traders, but I don't doubt that there's some of them. Are there any competitive, like super hardcore competitive cards here? I guess the balance. Yeah, here in my garage. See, what I like more than my Lamborghini, oh my Norwich. Okay, next up, we've got another super. We have giant super chats today. We got Baron Brendan with Burning of Zinri. What the hell is that? I don't know if this counts, but it's like when you drive into your own blue shell explosion. I totally have never done that. Burning of. So we're getting even more Mario Kart-like here. I've thrown myself into my own blue shell, a number of times. Another player is now winning if it's command. All right, let's take a look at this. Burning of Jinri is a 6-mana sorcery. You destroy 4 lands you control. Then target opponent destroys 4 lands they control. Then Burning of Jinri deals 4 damage to each creature. You know what? We're taking each other down together. There can only be one way. Okay, well, I'll donate another piece of that super chat to somebody else. It was a giant super chat. Thank you so much for that super chat and the suggested card. Joke's on you. I have an indestructible lands deck. Let's say, oh, so only one person's getting burned down here. No, the most common way I get hit by my own blue shell is I throw the blue shell and then the damn player in first place slows down. And then I get hit by the same. I get the hit at the same time. They're so clever. Next up, we've got Rin, the Master. Gallifrey's End. Okay, the Master Gallifrey's End is a 4-mana 4/3 Time Lord Rogue. Make them pay. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, choose an opponent with the most life among your opponents. That player faces a villainous choice. They lose 4 life. You create a token that's a copy of that card. Huh? You may. Oh, I see. Whenever a non-token artifact you control dies, and then you can make a token of it. That's sick. Very, 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 very sick. Okay, we're gonna take a look at another Blinksomniac super chat card. We now are going on to the Curse of Disturbance. Curse of Disturbance, a 3-mana Aura Curse enchant player. Whenever enchanted player is attacked, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Each opponent attacking that player also does the same. We want some zombies around here. Zombies are us. Okay, Aaron, we got Aaron here with Extinction. The Extinction. You can target the elf or sliver player at the table who are usually winning. Oh, so from your perspective, usually the elf the kindred players are in the lead. I don't know if they're always winning. If they are, they're not anymore. All right, they're gonna go extinct. 5 mana sorcery, destroy all creatures of any creature type of your choice. I will say the person who's in the lead is going to have a lot of creatures, usually multiple creatures of the same creature type. People usually build around a theme, so and at the very least, you can at least name their commander. We have one more from Blinksomniac. The Curse of Verbosity? Sorry, Verbosity? Curse of Verb. Curse of Verbosity. This is a 3-mana aura. Enchant player. When enchanted player is attacked, you draw a card. Each opponent attacking that player does the same. Oh my god, this is the best. Who doesn't want cards? Is only one card? Whenever enchanted player is attacked, you draw a card. I only draw 1 card. But you know what? Still is an incentive to throw anything at the player who is ahead. Man, that flavor text goes hard. Which one? Last one? I once had an entire race killed just to listen to the rattling of their dried bones as I waded through them. Volrath. Volrath was very evil. Super evil. Gillum with no card yet. Acidic Soil. Remember, if you don't have a card, let me know. I'll keep an eye on you. I look out for the people. I look out for the people who haven't got a card yet. Acidic Soil is a 3-mana sorcery. Acidic Soil deals 1 damage to each player for each land they control. Oh my god. Each deals 1 damage to each player for... Oh, I thought this was more of an enchantment where this would happen like every upkeep. But no, it's a one-time deal. It still has a lot of damage. Some people build decks just based around lands. They'd be the most punished by this thing. Volrath dies in Nemesis. Oh, Volrath, you left us too soon. Next we have... I guess we can get through some super chats here. So Toads donated an extra super chat. Let's give it to Old Boy, who wants a second card. Spike Shell Harrier. Literally is a... I think that's literally the blue shell. Spike Shell... Yeah, this was the... I really should have started the show on this, but I couldn't remember the name of the card. So it's a 5-mana 4/4. When the creature enters, return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If that opponent's speed is greater than each other player's speed, reduce that opponent's speed by 1. This effect can't reduce their speed below 1. Just put it to 0. Just give them no speed, in fact. I don't know if that was... I don't know, maybe it wasn't flavorful enough. Card seems weak. I mean, technically it counts for today's show. It's just so weak. How often is someone gonna have more speed than you in a game? Okay, next up, we've got Benjamin Berkey with the Searing Rays. Searing Rays is a 3-mana sorcery. Choose a color. Searing Rays deals damage to each player equal to the number of creatures that color that player controls. No doubt the player who is the most winning is going to be chosen. Can also backstab someone who's also losing. Yeah, we unstart their engine. We're going to take the keys away. Voltlin with Incite Rebellion. Incite Rebellion is a 6-mana sorcery. For each player, Incite Rebellion deals damage to that player and each creature that player controls equal to the number of creatures they control. Whoa! They're gonna... Yeah, so they are gonna rebel on you. Token players be damned. Is there some way you can, like, make this work? There's some cards, right, where whenever you're dealt damage, you can deal damage to somebody else. I have a feeling there's, like, a way to make this... If you are the winning player, you can actually, like, just lean on this and make it even better. Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize it's a multiplayer Rakdos charm. Let's go! Roll the Rakdos... I think there's a lot of people who love Rakdos Charm for the thrill of dealing a bunch of damage to someone who has a million creatures on the battlefield. Don't know how often they get to pull it off, though. Pedgeman with the Legend of Yang Chen. No, we most definitely did not do Yang Chen. Legend of Yang Chen is a 5-mana saga. Chapter 1. Starting with you, each player chooses up to 1 permanent with mana value 3 or greater from among permanents you control. Exile those permanents. Gone. Chapter 2, you may have target opponent draw 3 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. Chapter 3, we're going to exile it and return it transformed. Into Avatar Yang Chen, flying. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, airbend up to 1 other target non-land permanent. I don't think this doesn't hit the best player. Each player chooses up to 1 permanent with mana value 3 or greater from among permanents your opponents control. Exile. I don't think this hits the best player. I understand that you can sort of king make here with Chapter 2. I just don't feel the threat to the strongest player at the table. The creatures also rebelled against themselves. Hey, do you know what? When you rebel, some people are going to get injured. Jirocat says, usually people end up picking the best permanents that are on the best player's board. Starting with you, each player chooses... Oh, I totally get it. You know what? This card is great. Yeah, maybe yeah, the first mode exiles 3 from the best player. I didn't realize... I thought it was something like each player has to choose one of their cards. No, so each player chooses a card at the table, and you just choose from the best play. That's totally fair. This is a great card. Perfectly fits today's show. Bam! With Blood Oath. Bab! Okay, we have Blood Oath is a 4-mana instant. Choose a card type. Target opponent reveals their hand. Blood Oath deals 3 damage to that player for each card of the chosen type revealed this way. I imagine if somebody's hand is full of cards, in fact, especially if they revealed those cards to put them in their hand, you'd be able to blast them for a bunch of damage. Next up, we haven't actually done either of these, Benny. Restore balance. This is the slow balance. Slow balance. Suspend 6. Very slow for a white. Each player chooses a number of lands they control equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacks the rest. Players sacrifice creatures and discard cards the same way. You blue-shelled 3 people with this card. I'm going to stop complaining about being mana flooded now. Sometimes being flooded is good. Sometimes being flooded is very, very bad. Next, let's take a look at some doubles. Teutonic Nightmare with Scrambleverse. Scrambleverse is a 8-mana sorcery. For each non-land permanent, choose a player at random. Then each player gains control of each permanent for which he or she was chosen. Untap those permanents for each non-land permanent. Oh, I see. So if one person has the most stuff, it is randomly going to get redistributed to somebody else. So basically, we're all going to get. That's interesting. I like this card. It's a creative way. It's a creative suggestion for today's show, because whoever has the most stuff has the most to lose, as it's gonna be redistributed and fairly, the two-face way. Random chance. Sea Guy with Land Equilibrium. Land Equilibrium is a 4-mana enchantment. If an opponent who controls at least as many lands as you do would put a land onto the battlefield, that player instead puts that land onto the battlefield and sacrifices a land. It makes me, why is this thing legal in Commander? But like things like, what's it called? Was it just called Equilibrium? Those other white cards that prevent any more lands from entering the battlefield. This looks like one of those white cards. So if an opponent who controls at least as many lands as you do would put a land onto the battlefield, it feels like it's the lands are capped at a certain point. What if I ramp this thing out by turn 3? I think the card sort of looks broken to me. It's 4 mana in blue. What does that mean in Commander? Turn 1, Soul Ring. Turn 2, Land Equilibrium. No more lands. Limited resources. This was an age of experimentation. Oh yes, it was. Probably experimenting in the wrong way. Anyway, I always found it interesting that this thing is perfectly legal, but everything else is not. Next up, we got Marcio. I'm gonna say Ancestral Recall. That is definitely not, because someone is ahead in the table because it's running Thassa's Oracle. Disqualified. We have switch. Okay, I'll take Switcheroo though. Switcheroo! We have a 5-mana sorcery. Exchange control of 2 target creatures. Your creature is my creature now. But we're gonna give you something back, alright? You're gonna get a little something. We're stealing it. We're stealing something, but we're replacing it with something else. I took your horse and replaced it with a donkey. Donkey is still useful, okay? It's not actually worthless. Next up, Hexenort Repay in Kind. Land Equilibrium is what makes Choke fair in Commander. Repay in Kind is a 7-mana sorcery. Each player's life total becomes the lowest life total among all players. The other 2 players at the table was like, I didn't really sign up for this. All right, but you know, anything to make sure the best player is actually going to start to be losing. Bab says White has too many BS like that already. White can have a little as a treat. Oh, do arch enemy cards count? Absolutely. I hate those cards, but you know, they're totally fair game. To be honest, there's a lot of you out there, you're alchemy players, which is weird. So I mean, you're some of you are like hardcore arena players. You're all arena all the time. Switcheroo and Emrakul for an Eldrazi spawn. Can you do that? Exchange control of 2 target creatures. You can't do that. Emrakul can't be targeted by... Well, actually, it depends on the Emrakul. Some can't be targeted by colored spells. Okay, we have 76 mag with Juxtapose. Juxtapose is a 4-mana sorcery. You and target player exchange control of the creature you each control with the highest converted mana cost. Interesting. Then exchange control of artifacts the same way. If 2 or more permanents a player controls are tied for the highest cost, their controller chooses one of them. Someone's got to remember this card for bad combos that actually work. You exchange control of your egotist, scornful egotist, with something else. Something that their best card. Benjamin Berkey says, this is my cat. You have a Sphinx or something? This is exactly my cat. I like cats where they're soft, so I'm not a huge fan of the Sphinxes out there. Next up, we have PDX with Axis of Mortality. Axis of Mortality is a 6-mana enchant. Oh, we did this one. Sorry about that. Great card, though. Love it. I thought it was really cool. Mercenary with Avatar of Fury. Avatar of Fury, the 8-mana 6/6. If an opponent controls 7 or more lands, Avatar of Fury costs 6 less to cast. And it also has flying. And for a red, Avatar of Fury gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Look, they brought Shivan Dragon back. It's Shivan Dragon at home. Controls 7 or more lands. Ugh. You know what? I guess the odds of casting this for 2 mana are super high in Commander. It has to be super high. What's a game that goes by without... Well, I mean, maybe in CDH, no one gets to... People may not get to 7 lands, but in a regular Commander game, 7 lands is nothing. So yeah, 2 mana Shivan Dragon. Bigger! It's like a Shivan Dragon Titan. This is a 6/6 creature. I believe Shivan Dragon is a 4/4. Gilliam says, does borrowing 100,000 arrows count? What, borrowing? Hey, can I borrow some arrows? How many you need? I need 100,000. What are you going to do with 100,000 arrows? So for 3 mana, it's a sorcery. Draw a card for each tap creature target opponent controls. Absolutely, this counts. Shivan Dragon's a 5/5. Oh, I guess I just don't know. I don't know my dragons. If you put a gun to my head, or if you know if it was the $1 million question on who wants to be a millionaire, I wouldn't be able to get it. Not a dragon not a dragon person. Is it borrowing at that point? Yeah, probably not. Where's my 100,000 arrows back? And they're just launching them into the sea. I don't even know where they're attacking, but some number of them are going underwater. This is like how people ask to borrow a pencil. That pencil doesn't come back. Next up, let's take a look at... Mercenary says, used to be worth a lot of money in the 2000s, but since it's fallen from the 20 USD to bulk rare. Was this that good? Well, I guess we don't have price histories that go back that far, but I guess we could look at the Scry magazine. Someone should look up all those Scry magazines and compile all the data so that we can get price charts that go beyond like 2010. Because a lot of like the pricing data for cards, they stop at like 2010, 2009-ish, and so on. Marcia with another super chat. I love Breaking the Fellowship. Bonus points if the opponent has Phyrexian Obliterator. Breaking the Fellowship. This is 2 mana sorcery. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another target creature that player controls. The ring, it's gonna tempt you. When target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another target creature that player controls. Oh, that's interesting. So the best player can blast their own creature away. But they get to choose, right? Deals damage to another target creature that... Oh, no, I guess you get to choose. Okay, so you're going to have one deal another damage to another one. What a weird card. Oh, the Woe I understand. Woe could be like 35 bucks. Woe was big. I remember there was some aura, some good aura about the Woe at the time. Gillum, borrowing 10,000 used cost like 30 bucks, but it was reprinted in 2013 and not even worth 50 cents. A classic card. I wish the ring never came to me. That's why I'm selling it at this pawn shop. Corbinek with Polymorphous Jest. Polymorphous Jest is a 3-mana instant. Until end of turn, each creature target player controls loses all abilities and becomes a blue frog with base power and toughness 1/1. Let me show you a magic trick. I can turn anything into a frog. It's like, okay, how do you turn it back? I can't. You just wait until end of turn, though. We got PDX with, how about Profane Transfusion? Life swap with a free body? Absolutely. So 9 mana sorcery. 2 target players exchange life totals. You create an XX colorless horror artifact creature token where X is the difference between those players' life totals. Of course you want to steal the player with the highest life total. They have the most to lose. And the most to squeal about, too. Next we got Jirokat with the Scourge of the Throne. Throws infinite blue shells until you're in first place. Oh my god. So it's like hacks. Basically hacking. Oh no, we did Scourge of the Throne, I think. When this creature attacks for the first time each turn, if it's attacking the player with the most life total. Yeah, we did this one. Sorry about that. It was like, we did it very early on. Like it was like the 3rd card of the show or something like that. Corbinek with the Polymorphous Jest. It is a riveting experience. Benjamin Berkey, does Weathered Wayfarer count? Yes. Weathered Wayfarer is a white 1/1, and for a white tap, search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, activate only if an opponent controls more lands than you. Although this should be, it's a very weak card. They're just gonna watch you get lands 1 turn at a time. David Sampson with Second Chance. Maybe competitive? Not really. So 3 mana is an enchantment. During your upkeep, if you have 5 or less life. Actually, this doesn't have anything to do with the best player. Sacrifice Second Chance and take an extra turn after this one. I mean, okay, I'll give you to this. In a 1-on-1 game, your opponent has to be the winningest player here. So you get the extra turn versus them. Felicia with Gore Moldrak. The Amphenologist. Lives in the swamp. It's a 3-mana 3/2 human scout. You and permanents you control have protection from salamanders. At the beginning of your end step, each player who controls the fewest creatures creates a 4/3 blue salamander warrior creature token. Okay, at this point, this is turning into a show of like mostly supporting the weakest player at the table and not actually hitting the strongest player at the table. Hinaria with River's Rebuke. I think we did this one. Oh, maybe we didn't actually. So 6 mana sorcery, return all non-land perms target player controls to their owner's hand. There's a huge boing. Hedgeman with the Villainous Wrath. Villainous Wrath, a 5 mana sorcery. Oh my god, it's Dr. Ock. It's Doc Ock from the comic book. Target opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures they control, then destroy all creatures. Target opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures. Ah, that's perfect. Not only will I blow up all your creatures, they're all gonna sting you on the way out. Almost like Shrapnel Blast. Johnny Katz, finally caught. How are you doing, Jonathan? I'm doing great, Johnny Katz. Welcome. We got 76 mag with Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake is a 2 mana 3/3. It's a Drake. I guess Drake is not a dragon, and it's not a lizard. Flying. When Gilded Drake comes into play, exchange control of Gilded Drake for target creature one of your opponent's controls, or sacrifice your Gilded Drake. And it'll go poof, it's gone. One of the worst cards to play on Spell Table, I might add. Because, like, you can't give them the Gilded Drake, and they can't give you their card either, so you have to make tokens representing your cards. And next we got... we got Jiro Cat. I think since we already did my last pick, Ward of Bones. Hello, Bonesy. That's a lot of bones. Okay, 6 mana artifact. Each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't play creature cards. The same is true for artifacts, enchantments, and lands. Holy crap! So basically, you set the standard. And also, another card that looks broken. Just play this plus Armageddon, GG. Whatever the board is, that's it. It's over. Hold on, what if you played Ward? Is this like a combo? Ward of Bones and Obliterate. Each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't play creature cards. Oh no, but you have equal, so everyone can play a land. They need to have more, but they can have equal. Okay, so actually it's not a combo. Although it would be very frustrating. Yeah, I just realized I did the math. Having 0 lands means they can play 1 card. And then they can play 1 creature. And then that creature wins the game. Okay, they actually designed this card properly. Good card. Next we've got... Gilded Drake is priced like it's ultra competitive. Well, no, it's priced like it's reserve list. Once a card goes beyond like $100, in my opinion, it's just reserve list. I don't know how many non-reserve list cards are over $100. Like it just as a regular printing. Not many. But you're welcome to let me know. Corbinek says, man, I was worried about that Salamander Tribal. Good to know that card exists. Okay, Bab, with Caverns of Despair. You've got a card before. Caverns of Despair. There you go. Yeah, okay, fixed your typo. Caverns of Despair is a 4-mana enchant world. All players may attack with no more than 2 creatures each turn and block with no more than 2 creatures each turn. So if you have, well, this is a fascinating card. It's also on the reserve list. $77. It is like, what is that? There's like this Arbiter. Is it Arbiter of Virtue? There's some like white Arbiter card that says like players can't attack with more than 1 creature. They can't block with more than 1 creature. And it's pretty punishing. Like it's a pretty good prison card. Your keyboard betrayed you? Oh, my keyboard betrays me all the time. You know, I switched to this keyboard that I think I like more because it's smaller, but I mash the keyboard buttons all the time. My fingers are too big for this keyboard. I don't even have big fingers. Look. Fingers are not that big. It's Narset, but for combat instead of draw. This would be called a floodgate in Yu-Gi-Oh! A floodgate? Oh, because it gates things. Keeps things in check. Okay, we have 2 donations from Blinksomniac and Baron Brendan. Let's give one of these super chats to... Let's give one to Kano, the Hooded Horror. Hooded Horror is a 5-mana 4/4 horror. And Hooded Horror can't be blocked if defending player controls the most creatures or is tied for the most creatures. What a fantastic card. You have too many creatures? Well, you can't block this thing. Unfortunately, it's not that big. It's only a 4/4. Oh, it's colorless, the Silent Arbiter? All right, that's what it was called, the Silent Arbiter. Thanks for letting me know. Maybe I got confused because a lot of white decks play that card. You know, they're prisony, you know what I mean? Lestian also wants a super chat. Let's give you something. Oh, we did that one already. We did the Preacher of the Schism. Okay, anyone else in need of a super chat? I'll go back into the past. We got Sea Guy. with Sandstone Oracle. The Oracle. It is a 7-mana Sphinx. It's a 4/4 flying creature. When Sandstone Oracle enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. If that player has more cards in hand than you, draw cards equal to the difference. Sounds like great value. Okay, let's get one more before the show ends. I guess we didn't do land. I guess we didn't do land tax. Thank you very much, Baron Brendan, for that giant super chat. We're gonna finish the show on the land tax. A white enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. If an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. If anything, this should be the inspiration of a show where the crappiest player at the table, the weakest player, is getting buffed up. There's probably some stuff like, oh, you want to see the old art? People love the classics, huh? There's actually, I hate this art, but I never played with land tax. I think for the people who are very nostalgic for, I have to admit, there are some arts, I hate the art, but it's nostalgic because that's like what I played with at the time. Like Wasteland. I really don't like the art to Wasteland, but this is what I played with back then, so I can't play with anything else. Luigi wins by doing absolutely nothing. That's right. That's sometimes a strategy. Sometimes the best thing to do is doing nothing at all. That's it for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up, because as you all know, but maybe some people don't, we do these shows Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show. And sometimes those super chats are so big, they support other people on the show. And thank you so much, my coffee crew, for being here today. People like Little Deadfly and Adeptus Chocolatus, Mercenary, John, oh boy. We got Benjamin Berkey, David Sampson, Benny's got A-Pun, Kano, Mercenary again, and many more. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing those coffees. And we're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.